There's one stock that is about to skyrocket, in my opinion, with all of the euphoria around OpenAI, ChatGPT. We saw the massive spike in Oracle stock. We saw the massive spike in Intel stock when Nvidia made an investment in Intel. Nvidia itself had a spike when it purchased OpenAI, essentially invested $100 billion in OpenAI. OpenAI bought Nvidia GPUs. They're all buying Nvidia's GPUs, okay? Nvidia is the hot hand right now, and there's a reason to pick up what has traditionally been the juggernaut of the chip companies right now, because it's been going sideways for a while. It's been underlooked, and it's poised to break out. Let's take a look at that. If you haven't hit that like button, hit that so that the YouTube algorithm can find this info. It might be a little bit less hypey as I ought to make it. And let's go.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
So here's AMD, okay? And the reason we're talking about this is, if we zoom in, this company has essentially gone sideways for 3 months now. Well, 2 months, 2 full months, August and September. Got bought right back up after this drop here on the 4th. And this is a super, super low risk entry. If you knew nothing about this stock, you could say, well, how hard is it to buy at 160, 162, risk 160, risk a few bucks and try to make 10, 20, 30. Maybe you sell half of it, 10% up, hold half for, until one of these lines catches up. You can see how this line is slowly catching up. That's because it's going sideways. So once the stock starts to go down or sideways, these lines start to catch up, and then you could just use the line to sell. You don't have to freak out and overanalyzing all the different pieces of news, and you don't have to set a price target for when you're going to sell. No, you use the lines. That way it can go like it went over here. It can go up and then down. It can go up and then down. It can go up and then down, up and then down. And this whole line, it's still above the line. So it makes it super stress-free system way to invest. Now, why we're picking that company? It's totally not related to systems at all. It's related to this CEO who has a seat at the table with Nvidia, Sam Altman, and the president. And this company is huge, okay? 4% of the AI chip market is not a lot, okay, compared to Nvidia, which is the 4 trillion company, but it's still 20 billion of annual revenue. And there is reason to believe that AMD is going to start to capture some of Nvidia's demand, basically, because Nvidia can't itself fulfill it, and AMD is the best competitor to basically take over that demand. So OpenAI is an early design partner for AMD's upcoming GPUs. So that tells you all you need to know. If OpenAI is coming up at a valuation of $500 billion, they're burning $100 billion or so, if not more, over the next few years in just training costs, almost entirely GPU costs. So that's bad for OpenAI. What that means is they're spending it on Nvidia and soon to be, it sounds like, AMD chips. So if you like the growth of Nvidia, then you have to say, what kind of growth? I mean, this is a stock that went from 50 to 200 just in the past, year and a half, just about 18 months. And in the past 18 months, what did AMD do? Not much of anything, okay? So AMD's been around. Like, this company is not a spring chicken. So this collaboration with OpenAI is essentially saying, hey, sure, we're not Nvidia. Okay, we didn't go from essentially $10. This is the split is included in this chart, of course. So that's the 10-to-1 split. So this is when Nvidia went from, $1,500 to $150, and you guys get how split works. So $2 stock that went to $200, okay, in 5 years. There's a reason for the exuberance on Nvidia. AMD over that period only, instead of 100x, it 10x, okay? But you know what? That's still pretty good. And for people that don't want to buy Nvidia at all-time highs, I was sort of championing this, and I can't say that I'm not going to validate your inability to accept that you have to buy stocks that are up a lot after they've gone sideways if you want to be in the leaders. But I will say, if that's the case for you, fine. There is an opportunity that offers low risk that's very similar to Nvidia, and that's AMD. And this is the spot to do it. So that's the technical reasons to do it. And then we can actually hear from the CEO as well to sort of satisfy every sort of type of learning, technical, visual, I guess, auditory, whatever. I'll just play this for a bit.
Let's talk first about the AI Accelerator outlook, because actually, from analysts to investors to the developer community, when we say that you're coming on the show, we get questions from all quarters. You had said that the AI Accelerator business will grow to the tens of billions. And what I'm kind of seeing is people just want granularity from you, Lisa, a little bit. Like, when does that happen and where does it happen? And you talked about the hyperscalers, but what's the growth pathway to tens of billions in Accelerator revenue?
Yeah, absolutely, Ed. So let me give you a few important markers. So what we said is the second half of the year, our growth would be primarily driven in the data center by accelerators. We launched a new product just in June, MI355 product. It's extremely competitive. We really like how we stack up in terms of total cost of ownership for inferencing and training workloads. Customers really like that product. That's driving some of our second half growth. And certainly when we talk about our sequential growth into Q3, that's being primarily driven by that accelerator capability. And
so if you've heard of Google's TensorFlow or tensor processing units, that's the Google's GPU is called a TPU. They had to own their own acronym. So now AMD wants a piece of this pie as well. And this is the argument that the AI accelerator total addressable market will top 500 billion in the next 3 years. And so if they have 4% of the sort of accelerator market right now, the AI chip market, same thing. Her argument is, I'm sure, that this number is going to basically quadruple, and they're going to have, say, 12% or 15%. So it's a modest argument to make. It's not unbelievable. And with companies like Grok, G-R-O-Q, this is a reasonable argument to make that the next OpenAI, the next Anthropic, the next Claude, whether it's the gigawatt, AI data center power plants companies.
You see a good engineer?
Or whether it's sort of the engineering-centric actual chip companies who build these new AI accelerated chips. The next $100 billion company is not going to be an LLM company. And fine, AMD is already a massive company, but another argument is to say the next Nvidia is going to be basically AMD, okay? So Nvidia is about 20 times this market cap. So AMD doesn't have to do much to grow some into those shoes. So we'll just finish this out and then we'll talk a little bit about the chart and where to get in.
And now when you extend forward, I've said that the AI TAM for accelerators and data center will be over 500 billion over the next couple of years. We expect to get a large portion of that new accelerator TAM, and that's how we get to tens of billions of dollars. Very key is also, we've accelerated our roadmap, and so we are on an annual cadence. And next year, we'll have yet a new capability with our MI 400 series, which will bring full rack level solutions, which will be another giant step forward in terms of capability for AI solutions. So I think that's the roadmap and path for the next couple of years. We're really excited about the traction. We're getting lots of customer validation saying, hey, you're on absolutely the right path. And we're making strong progress towards those goals.
So customer validation saying you're on the right path is a pretty huge deal to hear that when your customer or your design partner is OpenAI, okay? A company with a 50 billion or above annual demand of your product, consumption of your product, 50 billion of revenue that they could pay AMD potentially. Maybe it'll be split among Nvidia and AMD forever, or there's no forever, but we're talking about the next 5-10 years. But if AMD can just slightly grow from, again, 4% of that AI accelerated hardware market, then her argument is totally intact. So, as far as some price moves, there hasn't been anything that we can't really intuit from the chart, except for earnings, okay? This was a challenge. This is Q2 earnings. Q2 earnings was challenging for a lot of companies, but particularly these Chinese chip tensions. So basically, China doesn't want us to beat them. There was the whole DeepSeek thing, which was pretty rough here when there was thoughts that this whole AI boom was overblown, and in fact, this is where DeepSeek was, somewhere in here. So Nvidia actually preceded the market tumble, which was the tariff tumble, and AMD did the same. Okay, so that rollout of DeepSeek, the AI algorithm that purported to use, say, like 10 times less or more times less of the power, or it's basically 10 times more efficient, that ruined these public companies' stock prices. OpenAI isn't public, so we didn't see the stock price go down, but we saw it in their customers, okay? So now we're back up here, and with all of those multi-year plan growth ideas out of the way, we're zooming way in here from macro to micro and just saying, here's where we're looking at. If we want to drive these lines back, we can, okay? And we can say, yes, this is sort of a relevant line somewhere, and the 160 level is definitely relevant. Hit it here, and here we are, right over here. There's a reason I'm talking about this stock today, or this week or next week. It may still be here, but it's a slow mover, 3% a day, but it could go at any time. So this is the opportunity. Risk a couple dollars, make 20, 30, and if you hold on to half your position and trail it with one of these lines, you could get another 100% or more move with, I say half your position because I do recommend you sell half, 3 to 5 days after you jump in there, because so many of these stocks, even Nvidia itself, does have pullbacks where, if you got in here, you could have sold a little bit here. I mean, it's only up This is about 10% actually. You might have sold off half here, and then if it goes down, maybe you sell out and you make a little bit of money even when you miss the actual big breakout. So that's how people stay in business. The liquidity is here is so insane that someone with a $10 million position or more could have done that little maneuvering that I just described. And maybe a much larger position even, 20 or 30 million. So I'm not joking around here when I'm talking about 3 to 5 day moves. So with all that said, that's the technicals. We talked about the fundamentals. We even listened into the CEO. And if you like these sort of stock ideas that are zoomed out and zoomed in to being actionable for you, no matter your account size, head over to stockscommunity.com. You can join for $25 for 7 days. I will mention what I think is the highest probability setup the morning of. Of course, you can ask any questions as well, and I can help tell you everything that we know. There are people that might know more than us, but they probably work at Citadel and Goldman Sachs. So if you like the idea of that, head over there, try it out. And if you like these videos, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.